Okay, so after getting all this in here coated with the Eastwoods encapsulator, now I'm going to work on this area, sanding it all down, bare metal, and then I will shoot some epoxy primer on the bare metal. That way whenever I paint, I'll be able to paint pretty much all the way up to this line is my plan. And then I can work on this up here later and get it in paint when I jam the car. But anyways, I'm gonna peel a lot of this old what do you call it, seam sealer. Peel most of that stuff off. I got a big chunk right there. I'll peel that off. Anyways, I'll get back at you. One more step. Alright, because that car is not the only thing I do around here. I'm putting these bricks up on my sidewalk on both sides to keep the dirt from getting on my sidewalk. And I had the bricks from when I cleaned out this lot when I purchased it, so figured to get rid of the bricks, that would be a good place to put them. I still have to come across here and down that direction. And then I did put this privacy fence up right here in front of my parking area that I've been working on. I know if you look back in my further videos, you'd see that I just installed this, but hey, gives my other duster, my A63 custom decor package interior Chrysler executive lease car place to park out here. Yay. But I know that ain't what we're here for. We're here for this. So anyways, I did work on the rear end a little bit more and got all the cow areas sanded. I should have had them sandblasted while I was there, but I didn't. I had them do all of the engine bay, which is kind of a good thing I didn't, because he ran out of sand. But he did do the window channel in the front and rear. Only place he did not do was on the top of the cowl and on the inside of the cowl. So about an hour took me to get it all sanded down. I'll shoot a little bit of epoxy on it. Probably what I'll do is this line right here, I'll tape it all off, and then I'll just scuff that upper section right there. That way it all adheres to it. And then I did spray the inside of that with the Eastwoods frame encapsulator. So I have to blow all that out, clean that up, spray it. I did notice had a couple pinholes up here, so I'll probably try to chase those couple little pinholes shut anyways. Pray that it goes quick and it just fills up real quick and I can move on. Anyways, that's where I'm at. Still at it. Once I get that in epoxy primer, I will scuff up the inner fenders and do a little bit of Bondo work on them. It's like underneath the battery right there, a couple of little spots over there where I filled in holes, and then shoot some polyester primer on the inner fenders and the firewall there. That way I can fine tune it and do a little bit of sanding, and then I will seal it. Once it's sealed, I'll be ready for some paint in them areas. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. Night night. So, went ahead and got all this cow area cleaned up, sanded, 80 grit, and shot with some epoxy primer. One more step. So all the way around the window, all of that area, the sides have all been shot with epoxy. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to put a little bit of the polyester on it and fine tune everything, get it looking nice, and then seal it. Alright, I'm out. Alright, not much to show, but I did do a little bit hammering and dollying in this area. I did before, but I went ahead and did a little bit more to try to get it straighter. This lip was all jagged, like they cut it with a pair of tin snips and just left it from the factory. And I went ahead and took the hammer and dolly and kind of straightened it up all the way around. That is actually a corner, so and then after straightening it up, I went with my little grinder and grinded down the edge here so there's no sharp points that are gonna get a hold of you when you're in there changing spark plugs. I did have a couple pinholes up here that I went ahead and took care of, and there was an extra screw hole up there. It was like someone missed or something, I don't know, but they didn't hit the screw hole that belonged there. That's the whole factory hole, but there was a hole right above it. Alright, so that's where I'm at with that. I had a couple creases right in here that I worked on. I'm going to smear a little bit of Bondo, not much, just like here, here. There's a few places up on top. I got most of this straight, but there's a little bit of a indentation there, a couple high spots, same thing there. So I'll probably just put a thin coat across here and up here, and I think that's there. I think that's about it. Oh, and the area underneath the brake pan. I don't know if I want to mess with that because the pan's going to be there, but maybe a little on this side when I get to it. But other than that, I think I'm about ready to shoot that old what is it called? Now I got a brain fart going on here. The body man in the can, the polyester fillet on the engine bay in the cowl area, and then go in and fine tune it, seal it, and be ready to put some paint. Once again, talked to the engine guy, and it was having a problem with his machine over there that he needed to get the head done. He's told me that he would have everything done by Wednesday, so we'll see what happens. No big deal. I was getting ready to close this screw hole in, but thankfully the internet saved me on that, because that's the bracket that comes up from your air conditioning line that holds the air conditioning line from twisting. That's where that bolts in. So I didn't close it off. Alright, I'm out. Okay, so for the progress report, I got all the body work done in the engine bay, and that's my 2 coats of quicksand polyester primer, body man in a can. All that is sand, and then I'll do a sealer on it. Anyways, so I did that, and then I've been working on this also, and I got my pinion depth set. I got the new bearings on. I have to get me some silicone to put on the seal so I can put the seal on, and then I need to tighten that down, torque it down. This is the pattern I came up with. And I'll recheck it all when I get it all put back together. But so what I did was, with the old bearings, if you watch the video at the beginning, it kind of tells you I die grinded the inside of them out, and then I practiced with those, you know, several times with different size shims and so forth and so on. Checking my thicknesses, and anyways, so long story short is I practiced with the old bearings for a while, did a couple runs on it, checked it, and then when I felt like I was getting the hang of what I needed to do, whether it was adding or taking shims off, I went ahead and pressed the new bearings on and went from there. So anyways, I get that sealant, put that on, tighten it down, torque it, put the carrier back in, set my backlash, rerun it, make sure that nothing's changed or moved, and then it will be on the done pile, besides painting it. I gotta paint it black. Alright, later. So this is where I'm at with it. After spraying on the, oh, what's it called? I always forget the name of this stuff. Slick sand. It was only like a half a quart, and we used it on another car. I think of the Duster out back. But when he mixed it, I think he mixed a little too much hardener for the first half. Because on the second half, well, plus the temperature's been, you know, in the mid 60s over here for the last few days. And after I shot it on there, it was just like tacky to the touch for several days. So I busted out the torch here and pointed it directly at the panel, each one for about an hour, and I got it to get rid of the tackiness. But what I went ahead and did was I just went over real quick with some like 180 and just knocked the tops off of it, if that makes sense, or broke it open, whatever you want to call it. But after breaking it open, I'm going to let it go ahead and dry out another night, and then I'll come back and I'm going to hit it all with like 220 so I could get rid of the little like orange peel or whatever on it. But like I said, that was just a quick scuff it up real quick, and everything looked good except for I got a spot here, there and there, that I need to put a little bit of glaze on and sand it back out. And then I don't know what those two are, if they was dimples to mount something from the factory or what. That's kind of what they feel like. You know, they feel just like that, like a little dimple. I think they are supposed to be there, so I'm going to leave them. I don't want to cover up something that was there from the factory. But other than that, I had a little softness here, and it was kind of clogging up the sandpaper, so I broke it open and just kind of letting it dry before I really get in there with the 220 and fine tune everything before I put a sealer on it. But anyway, so that's where I'm at with that. And then this will be kind of just the end of my rear end drop-in video, because I've been doing other things. I built this shelf back here so that I can throw, you know, I got these 6 totes down here, and I've got these 6 up here now where I can put other stuff in it. I went ahead and pulled my other toolbox in here, and what I'm doing, I got a hell of a mess going on. What I'm doing is I'm actually separating all my tools. Now that I got more room, I can actually put a couple different items in a drawer and still have room, where like there, I almost got this one emptied out. I'm going to find another one for my metric wrenches, and then we got some screws, miscellaneous in that, and then we've got hammers, chisels, and files in there. And then of course, well, not of course, but I got my electric tools in that one, and then the air tools are in that bottom one. My vice grip collection. Because I'm not doing panel work right now, so I was able to take all my vice grips and put them up. And I got some wire brushes and stuff in there with them. And we got all my standard wrenches, and I got a ton of the 5/8. And knives, utility knives, Allen wrenches. So that's where I've been at with it. Drill bits, tubing cutters, ratchets, and extensions. And then I got sockets that I need to clean up and make another set. Fill that set back up. And more sockets. There's another small ratchets. And then hole saws and pullers and C-clamps and so forth and so on, and empty drawer, screwdrivers. I'll get them up a little. Pliers, dikes, wire strippers, tin snips. Got the channel locks, not channel locks, crescent wrenches and pipe wrenches. Yeah, but that's what I'm doing. Long story short, all of my big ratchets, extensions, torque wrenches, dial caliper, more socket sets, and everything. So that's where I'm at with it. Just kind of cleaning it up. This drawer here is basically a miscellaneous junk drawer, and there's some junk in there. A lot of screws and miscellaneous crap. Alright, anyway, so back to that. I got this all put together, painted. I ended up with real close to that pattern, maybe a little bit different, where this one was actually closer to the center here, and then this one was just a tad higher, or smaller actually, so it was a little bit smaller on there, but it was an acceptable pattern in my opinion. And that was my first time rebuilding one of them. So been talking to the engine guy, the machine shop, and got the good news today. It is done. So I'm going to go pick it up tomorrow. And then I took a bunch of the inner bumper brackets, the backing plates for the rear brakes. What else did I take? Oh, the sway bar, rear sway bar, and then I also took the headlight bucket brackets, and there's a couple other things. So I took them all to the sandblaster. I got to pick that stuff up tomorrow too, because I will be rebuilding the front end with the K-frame, taking it all apart and painting everything. The rear end, I'm going to get it put together. I'll probably just paint those with some black oil base paint or whatever, so I can get the rear end put together, get it painted, finish up the in there. And I've already shot a seal coat on the bottom here, so this is all sealed up. All I need to do is paint the rock guard on the wheel wells, front and rear, because on the front I'm gonna, not the frame, but all of the inner fender area, I'm going to do the rock guard on all of that, and then I'll be ready to shoot some color on this bottom. Flip this thing over, put the front end and rear end under it, and start assembling the engine so I can get it in. Alright, that's where I'm at with it, because once I get it down on the ground, I will strip those fenders, strip the doors, strip the roof. And I still got my big beautiful blue X on the top. And once, oh, and I need to work on that trunk lid. So still a long ways to go, but I'm getting there. I'm picking away at it. Yeah, so the trunk lid, I have to strip it, and then I have to repair that section, and then the other side's not too bad. I got that one there to cut pieces off of. All right. Round and round she goes. Alright, talk to you later. Oh, yeah, another quick little note. So Monday, because we live on a busy street over here, I looked out the window, because I always look out the front door every morning. It's something I do, habit. And I looked out here, and there was a kitty cat smashed in the road over here. So I went ahead and took the grandbabies to school, didn't say nothing to them, and I came back, and see, we got a bunch of them running around here. There goes one right there. But anyway, so scraped it off the street over here and took it over there, and there's a big empty field over there. Took it over and buried it. So anyways, I'm in my tool room. What it was like a week later, and I'll start to hear meow, 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 meow. So apparently that was Mama Cat, and she had, well, let me see if I can get this to pop on here. Well, it's not wanting to. Battery's too low. But anyways, yeah. She had had her babies under my add-on, so I got to get some wire and go around the bottom of it, keep the animals from going under there and having babies. So anyways, I got them all out of there with some tuna, and my next door neighbor, apparently that was her cat, so she heard me over here with all the babies, and she started, neighbor, neighbor, neighbor. So I looked over the fence, and she says, You see my cat? And I said, yeah, it got killed out in the street. I buried it. And she was like, she was pregnant. And I said, no, she had the babies over here. And she said, oh, can I have one? I said, look here, you can have them all. So I coaxed them out from underneath there and back, put them in a basket and took them over to her with a can of tuna. So anyways, my old soft heart when it comes to animals, that's kind of the way it is. I don't like cats, don't want no cats in my house, but I still have a heart for them because, you know, they're helpless and they didn't have a chance unless someone got them out from underneath there because they was going hungry. All right, night night.